What now, Jerry? What now?
We've been on a mission to slay headsets, and we've been giving you guys our opinion on what we would do to replace a headset. So all you really need is a mic and a good pair of headphones. And that's the problem with most headsets, is that they have two things and both of them usually suck for some reason. I don't know why.
Right.
It's weird. So in this video, we're going to start off with the mic, and I'll kind of cover this. But Antlion Mod Mic is a really, really good way to go. This is the new version 4. And the version 4 really helps to isolate your voice from the background and give you like really, really good, clean audio. It's not quite as full as some options out there, but it can help to eliminate a lot of background noise. And also, since it's not sitting on the desk like a Yeti or a Snowflake or one of those type of Snowball or whatever, what are those things called? All those weird things.
Desktop mics.
Yeah, those desktop mics. You're not going to have to worry about any feedback or any bumps from hitting the table, or you're not going to have to worry about your clicky mechanical keys going crazy. So I really like the Mod Mic, and it's really easy to use. We've already done a video on it. You just put a little piece of 3M tape thing with a magnet on it, and then you stick it on, and then there's your Mod Mic. Easy enough. If you want to get more serious, you can use the one that we're using here on the desk.
Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Yes.
This is the AT2020 from Audio-Technica. There's also the AT2020 Plus. Actually, that's what this one is. It has a headphone jack and volumes and all that stuff. But the regular 2020 for $100 is all you need, and it sounds really good. It comes with a little desktop stand that's shitty. So if you wanted to get a better stand, I bought this. It's decent. But one thing I'll say about this one, there's a Rode mic stand that a lot of people recommend. It's like $100. And one of the things I found weird about the Rode is you put it up there and you tighten it as tight as it'll get, and with the weight of this mic, it just slowly starts to go down. And you have to keep being like, hey man, get back up there, get back. You have to keep tickling it in the right spot, and then it goes back up. What's so funny? All right, it's time for you to jump in here and start and talk about headphones. I want to say this before we get into the headphones. We are only going to talk about open headphones in this video. So you're going to need to have a nice environment without a lot of ridiculous people in the background throwing cats around.
Yeah, don't throw cats.
Yeah, please don't throw cats. They hate that. Cats, never mind. So all these are going to be open, and open gives you better spatial awareness in your games. So that's what we're really looking for. And also, the whole simulated surround sound nonsense. If you get a pair of open headphones and play your games in headphone mode, it's going to sound a lot cleaner. You're not going to have any of that reverby, cheesy sounding, simulated Dolby bullshit. So
yeah,
let's jump in and take a look at this.
So as in the last video, if you guys seen the last one, I like used headphones. That's actually what I buy personally, is when I need a headphone or whatever, I look used first. So go to your local eBay and look before you buy new. That's my recommendation to do anything. So these are the DT990s, 250 ohm. These are the Pro version, not the premium. They're the older ones, but they sound identical.
Yeah, the main difference is that the clamping factor on the Pro version is tighter. But other than that, the same velour pads. They've got a little plastic on the outside instead of the metal on the outside, but they're like, they sound identical. They're just a little tighter on the head.
Yeah.
So I like the premiums because got a fat head.
Yeah.
But if you got a smaller head, they're totally fine.
And these have the classic V sound signature, so you're gonna have a little bit of increased bass, lower mids, and a little bit higher treble. Some people don't like the treble on these headphones, but for gaming, I absolutely love these. I use these personally, and the K612 Pros. Those are my two gaming headphones.
I'll chime in on these. For me, these are too bassy. They're almost so boomy that I feel like I lose a little bit of what I'm looking for in my audio. So if you're someone who likes a lot of bass, really good way to go. But I think the bass is a bit too boomy for me.
Right.
But hey, some people love bass, so there you go. All right, moving on. Next thing on the menu here is something that kind of fixes the gripes I had with the DT990. That's the Audio-Technica AT-H80-700X. A very clean sounding headphone. Also airy, but not quite as airy as the DT880s.
Yeah.
The treble is slightly it doesn't get sibilant or anything like that, but it's it's a little more there than it is on the...
It's not a V-shaped headphone, it's more flat.
Yeah, very flat.
If you're looking for a big boomy bass, this is definitely not your headphone. It's very, very airy. If you're looking for a spatial awareness, 3D sound-ish, these headphones are great for that. They're one of probably the most standard gaming headphones that I recommend. They're very good headphones for gaming.
One thing I want to note, the Mod Mic is a bit difficult to attach to this. can be a little difficult to attach
There's
to
not a lot of
this.
surface area for the tape to stick, so.
Yeah. There we go, the AKG Pro. This is the K612 Pro. These are probably the flattest as far as the frequency response curve out of anything that we're going to look at in this video. They're almost too analytical for me, but they're so flat that every single frequency range can be heard.
Right.
And that can be really handy depending on the situation.
Yeah, like super low bass. Some headphones can't even do it correctly or at all. This does it correctly. There is, if there is supposed to be some low grumble in the grenade music, whatever, you hear it, and it sounds good. Only thing about these is that these need slight amplification. I've maxed them out with standard motherboard audio, and it just doesn't get loud enough for me. So you may need to get amp for these. But yeah, like I said, these are incredible headphones. These and the 990s are what I use, and they're very light without feeling cheap.
Yeah, I actually like these better than the 701s.
Mm-hmm.
The 701 sound maybe sound better. These are more comfortable. They've got the smooth headband. It's just, I like these quite a bit, but maybe too analytical for me.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're looking for that, and also you can also use these for creating music,
Right.
No problem. All right, next up on the list here is the Q701. We got the Quincy Jones version, but pretty much the same drivers and stuff as just the 701. And here you can see, like, already my gripe right there was that band on the top. Yep, that little band under the bumps on the top.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how much hair you have, it's going to dig in your head.
It's weird.
Within 15 minutes, an hour, it's going to dig in your head and it gets uncomfortable.
I mean, it wasn't that bad because it is a light head,
Yeah.
pair of headphones. When you step up from the the K612, bass is similar, sound signature's very similar, but I wish that had a smoother sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the high sounded a bit smoother, the bass and the mid sounded a bit warmer. I guess the more mids is,
Right.
but yeah, very similar. All right, next up, there they are. These are ridiculous. The HE400 from Hi-Fi Man. Go ahead and get my gripe out of the way. That blue is just ugly, but hey, whatever.
It's going to be on your head. You're not really going to see it then.
Yeah, you're not going to see it that much. It's going to be on your head all the time.
Yeah.
So these used to have these. I'll let you talk about them for just a second.
Yeah, I think these used to retail around $400-ish before they rolled out the new models. This is probably dollar for dollar, high end, probably one of your best bang for your buck. They sound incredible. They sound a few notches lower than the HE500, which used to be like the best headphone from Hi-Fi Man, minus the HE600s. But these are just incredible value. They have, and these are orthodynamic drivers.
Yeah, it's a bit different. I guess I'll let you go ahead and give them an idea of what it is.
Orthodynamic drivers, they are flat drivers instead of cone drivers. We can get a whole video in that. But
Yeah, it's pretty much, I guess I can probably do it quickly. It's a sheet of copper, they send a frequency through it and it vibrates and it stops way faster than the standard cone does.
Yeah.
Because it's such a light piece of copper that's creating the air vibrations.
right.
And
It's a lot smoother, if you've got
very
a lot
precise sound.
Yeah, and these are probably the cheapest good orthodynamic headphones you can get.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know what? God damn it, let's plug your stuff, man. The version 1s from Fostech that you guys have, that you guys do a mod on, sound really good, similar to these. So yeah, and they're also the same type of technology. They're also the orthodynamic
Right.
driver, and version 1s are my choice because they have slightly more of a V sound, nice heavy bass.
Yeah, they're the more everybody would probably like the version 1s. Version 2s are very analytical. Like if you're making music,
I think the version 2 sound like a better version of the AKGs over here, because they've got the slightly more precise drivers, but they're very
Right.
similar to the sound signature, I think.
Yeah.
So, and then the version 3s are
Yeah,
bass.
and you did a big
Bass.
You did a pretty good video on all three of the headphones from our company. So.
Yeah, and those do work really well with the mod mic. So if you guys want to get a mod mic and stick them on there. So
Yeah.
there, I plugged your company and you can't stop me. He didn't want to do it, but I'm making him do it. So yeah. Anyway, all right, moving on here. Hi-Fi Man are probably my favorite in this group until we get to the end when we talk about the ridiculous ones.
Right.
But
We're
Hi-Fi
getting
Man,
there soon.
they sound amazing. Here are the ones I use as my daily driver. The Biodynamic. They put it as 2 words in this one, isn't it? 1 word?
Should be 1 word.
All right, whatever. Biodynamic DT880 Premium. This is the 32 ohm version. There's a 250 ohm version, also a 600 ohm version. For me, I'm like the middle ground. The 250 ohm sounds pretty good, but you need amplification.
Right.
The 32 ohm version, you do not need amplification. They still sound amazing. There's not that much difference.
The bass is slightly better than 600 ohm.
A little tighter.
Yeah.
and I like that. But these things sound really good. They're clean. Some of the best headphones out there for rock and roll. They always, you throw out the word airy, and that word kind of sticks with me because you get this really, I don't know, just like soft, velvety treble it's really there. These are very treble forward headphones. For being a flat frequency response curve, they do have a little spike in the treble. So they're analytical, little spike in the treble, good bass, and they just have great clean sound. I'm pretty sure these are semi-open, but they do almost as good of a job. Not quite as good of a job as the Audio Technicas we talked about earlier with the spatial awareness and that sort of thing, but they do a really good job. I love these headphones. All right, now we're going to get silly. And just, if you have absolutely, no budget, you can get anything you want, and you still want to play games, because I think a lot of people in our audience, they're in a spot where they've got a really good job in technology, and they get home and they want to play some games, and they don't want to have to deal with the same crappy stuff that they dealt with when they were 15 years old. Hi-Fi Man HE560. They're 30% lighter than the 500s. The 500s, I love those things. Some of my favorite headphones on the planet. Just amazing sound. They do have a slight, they're decently analytical, but they've more in the classic V.
Yeah.
They've got a little, the kick's really good.
Right.
Treble's really crunchy. Amazing for rock and roll. Listening to 3 Inches of Blood with these will make you rip the paint off the walls and make you so happy.
Nearly perfect headphone for me. Only thing was, again, the weight. And they listened and they fixed this.
Super comfortable. Yep. So anyway, these things are also the orthodynamic drivers. And yeah, there's 15 to 50 hertz frequency response range. That means they're better than all the other headphones
Ever.
We won't even get into that. We're joking right now. All right. Also, if you could have anything you wanted, here's another one. The Shure. This is extremely open and very analytical as well. But yeah, these things have one of the biggest sound stages of any headphone in this price range. They're expensive, but they're good.
Right.
You got anything else to chime in on these? They're just
they have a little bit of maybe too much treble for some people.
Yeah. I tend to be a treble fanatic. I love treble.
Right.
If
you don't like treble, I'd maybe stay away from these. But these are an option from Shure. These are their high-end headphones. So.
Yep. Oh, I forgot to mention these, but these are in a decent price range. Also, really nice soundstage with the Grados here. Not quite as comfortable, so for long gaming sessions, you're going to have to spend some extra money and get, Jesus, what the, $45 for their bigger, cushions. Anyway, these things are handmade in Brooklyn. I love the way these sound. Probably my favorite headphones we've got a pair here. It's probably my favorite headphones in the building when it comes to rock and roll. Just super crunchy treble, good kick, and just expansive soundscape. I don't even know how to explain these. I think they're great, but maybe not quite the most comfortable thing ever for gaming.
Right.
But I still love them. I'll let you introduce these.
Yeah, so these are my actual personal favorite headphones for anything above regular price range. So anything above $200, these are like my favorite headphones. Whenever I compare headphones, I use the sound signature of these headphones as reference. To me, these are perfect. They have it just sounds like everything is just crystal clear with these headphones. They have, to me, a perfect bass response. It's a little elevated.
I found the bass to be almost looming. You know what I mean? Like in certain situations where there's like, and then a game where there's like a low-level hum, like some games like Quake and stuff, like they have that. Mm-hmm. You can like feel the looming or impending doom. It's really weird. But also in music that has like a lot of low sustained notes, it just kind of like reverberates your cranium, man.
Yeah.
But they're not. Having said that, I wouldn't call them. The bass is not floppy. The bass sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It's still tight, even though it's voluminous, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's very hard for an orthodynamic headphone to do all of these things, and their engineers did a very good job with these headphones. So. Mm-hmm.
Now, would you recommend they get the Odyssey LCD 2, or do you where would you recommend they get these things?
I found my pair at Headroom or Headphone.com.
Yep.
They were open box for like $870 something. You can buy these used, but be careful with the version 1s of these headphones. believe they had the drivers weren't as good as the later versions, and the headphone cable termination is not as good as the newer revisions. So anything like revision 2 and higher, I would go for. So yeah, check your eBay, Amazon, look for a used pair.
Yep.
Yeah, can I chime in on something?
Go for it.
Just so everyone knows, you also cannot really wear these if you wear glasses. They're kind of heavy and they're a little tight. And so if you do wear glasses, they're not really super comfortable. They kind of lift up off the side of your ears. That said, if you don't wear glasses, they're unbelievably comfortable. And of all the headphones that we tested this weekend, they're the only ones that, everyone talks about the bass and the treble. No one ever talks about the mids. These have a really nice flat mid that's just slightly elevated, and
Like a warmness
yeah,
that overtakes you.
really nice. Plus the build quality and how pretty they are and all that.
Yeah. So there you have it. I want to know what you guys think. If you guys have some other options that are really cool, or maybe there's some new headphones that have come out since the making of this video, go ahead and feel free to put them in the comments, and please let us know what you think about the sound. I know this is very subjective stuff here, but frequency response graphs do help a lot. So if you can find one of those over at headphone.com, just go to the research area, I believe it is, and just build your own graph. You guys can go and look at all these different graphs. And a lot of times you'll find by looking at the graphs that there are certain sounds that you really like. And that's how I ended up buying my 3 or 4 pairs of headphones. I was like, ooh, I like that sound signature, and I like this sound signature. So let me go look at a bunch of graphs. And I looked at like 900 graphs. And then once I was finished looking at all these graphs, I was like, here are the 3 headphones I want to try. And so I bought those 3. And they're all like still my favorite. We've got like 90 headphones around. And the 3 that I bought by looking at headphone graphs and reading stuff were the ones that I liked the most. So there is some truth out there in all this, subjective sea of opinion stuff. So find it, put it on your head, and be happy. Make sure you have a good mic, because we'll see you guys on the internet playing some games. Full sound, you can use what you're